Well, good morning. Our beloveds are another is back online. She has been struggling, quite honestly, to keep up with her many changes, which are hers to share, not ours. And while it is relevant, it is not for today's message. We will just tell you she is manifesting the bounty in her life because she has trusted us, has surrendered to the direction and the path, and even the novelty. We guide her, she accepts, and we move forward, and we are now sprinkling surprises on her head because it is time. It is time. It is time. You all are making a mole out of a mountain hill and a mountain hill out of a mole. Your focus is not where it should be. It is the sleight of hand. What you see in the news and in the media across the board is what is here to distract you. It is what is here to distract you and entertain you, to get you going blah, 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 blah about that topic. And it is everyone. The question is, what is nobody really talking about? Climate change is real. The globe is drying up in many places and soaking up in others. Mother Earth is growing. We have underground volcanoes. We have natural disasters. We have fires. We have so many earth changes occurring. And yet the news and the media that most consume are not talking about this. They are talking about the politics and the economics and the human aspect, but they're not discussing the global changes and shifts. And it will matter for obvious reasons. Do you remember the prophecies where they said large rivers or bodies of water would dry up in the end days? And is that not occurring? Where is the prophetic interpretation of that? Where is the interpretation of what this means and how you go forward? Why is nobody worried about sustainability? You are building AI centers which are water hogs with the premise of X, Y, and Z, but there is not enough water right now to sustain the planet and its inhabitants. Why would you build and adapt and implement a technology which would worsen it? Where is the outcry, not from those who see it in their backyard, but from those on a global scale? And we mean those with power, with might, with sway. It will play out as it is meant to, but we just want most of you to look at what is not in the news, what is not being discussed, but that you, with your very own eyes, you can see as a problem. Where is data being hidden? Where is the information being moved by sleight of hand? And why? Who controls the media? Those with wealth, with power, with privilege. When you have $1 billion, you can pay people to create content to divert the masses from what their eyes are naturally telling them or you. If you live in one of the areas affected by drought, what do you notice around you? Is anybody making decisions that are in the best interest of the people, of the consumers, of the animals, of nature? What do you see happening? Not a whole lot. Either climate change is not real, or the economy requires that we continue doing this. But what if Mother Earth burns? while you are consuming a latte at Starbucks? Where is the privilege? Where is the balance? Where is the perspective on survival, not only for you, but the next generation, regardless if you chose to have children or not? What matters most for the continuity of humanity? It is not reproductive rights. It is not marriage equality. It is not even sustainability. It is authenticity. Why do you get to choose what somebody else believes, says, or does? And the reverse is true as well. Where is it that you should have the right to make decisions for yourself, or yourselves if you have multiple parts, so long as it doesn't harm others? Isn't that what it is to be love? To love yourself, to have the freedom of choice, so long as you don't restrict the freedom of choice of others. You cannot willingly and intentionally harm others, but you can make decisions that may result in a harm to others because they don't get what they want. The harm there is that it limits their opportunity to build something. But where do we find the balance? What is this balance? How do you coexist with these limited resources? Is it that I get mine and you don't get yours? How do you share resources and assets? Who owns what in this coming era? These are the things that humanity is going to have to grapple with. And it will not be easy because many of you, most of you, almost all of you, have a sense of entitlement because you expect that you have a right to what you have a right to, or you feel you have a right to. But what if the governance were to disappear? What would that look like? What would that feel like? If the governance structure, those who tell you what you can and cannot do, those who enforce what you can and cannot do, if that disappeared, what would happen? Chaos? Would chaos reign, or would humanity figure out a way how to do this without that governance structure? We're going to test the theory to see how you do. Because as you can see, the governance structure, on the one hand, it is becoming authoritarian, but on the other hand, it is also breaking down, which means anarchy and chaos can reign. So how do you come together as a group and come up with the governance structure that is ideal for everyone, the animals included? Who chooses what? Who gets what? And when? These are the questions that humanity will have to grapple with. Not the latte, not the fancy sports car, not the trips abroad. It will be sustenance, sustainability, and loving accommodation for all of those other inhabitants around the world. When everyone recognizes that we are all one, it is only within that construct that you will be willing to sacrifice some of your own sense of entitlement for the benefit of others so that they can stay alive. Because sustainability is not only for you and your community, but it is for all parts of the globe, all people on the globe, all beings on the globe. And when you really knock down those borders and recognize that the invasion of aliens is not the problem, well, they will capitalize you to make food for their group. That will no longer be important when humans on Earth are suffering, and you can make a change that could keep somebody else alive, and they can make a change that would keep you alive, potentially. These are the mechanisms that are at play right now, and they are complicated, and there are many levers on our side and many consciousness and conscious decisions that the collective and the individual will need to make. It won't be easy. It won't be beautiful. It will be messy. It will be chaotic, and it will result in the spark of illumination within. It is happening one firefly at a time. Just trust us, you just can't see it yet because there's too much light outside. But when the darkness comes, everyone will see who was illuminated and who was not, who was willing to do their part and who was not. And there is no judgment, there is no shame. It is just, this is what the evolutionary and the adaptive path looks like. And so it is. Namaste.